Morning, everybody. Come on, you can sound better than that. Morning. Hey, sounds good, sounds good. All right, so welcome to our session on planning your migration journey. My name is Ron Daly, and I'm part of what is called our global black belt team on data center migrations. And we're a set of technical resources architects that focus on helping customers to work out the planning of your migration. And what we do, we help you to get the assessment done. We work with some of our largest customers like yourself to help the assessment done and unblock any issues with migrations. So by show of hands, how many persons are in the process of actually doing a migration? Okay. How many folks run VMware? Okay. Hyper-V? Okay, all right. So we'll talk about how we can do it, and physical machines, who still have physical machines in their environment. 2003. Don't be ashamed. Thank you, sir. And 2008 and above. So we'll talk about those scenarios and how you can plan migrating those workloads to the cloud. So one of the first things that usually happens when we have conversations with customers like yourself, the big question is, where do we start? Where do we start with migrating our applications? Now, one of the key things that we talk about, you might have seen this slide in previous conversations. One of the key things that my team emphasizes is that migration, the cloud is not a destination, right? I don't want to sound cliche. It's not a destination, but it's a journey. And it really depends on your maturity level with cloud application models, right? So if you have a modern DevOps practice and you're used to stuff like microservices, containers and stuff like that, migrating your applications into a PaaS service might be easy. But there are other folks, right, where in your environment, that's not where you are. You're still heavily virtualized, you're still running monolithic applications, and throwing those applications over the fence, what we call lift and shift, is usually the path of least resistance. So when does that really come into picture? Now, rehost or lift and shift usually comes into play when you might be at the end of a data center contract. So your data center contract is expiring, and you say, you know what, I'm looking to leverage the benefits of a cloud platform. And it doesn't matter where you are, what data center you are in, you can be able to assess those workloads and quickly get them over into Azure by doing a lift and shift process, replicating them with ASR or one of our third-party tools. So the idea is that you might be at the end of your data center contract. You might want to leverage some of the scalability and availability features that are part of infrastructure as a service. So taking those virtual machines, replicating them over into Azure gives you that comfort level, right? I'm still running virtual machines, right? I'm still running virtual machines. I'm just taking them and moving them to a more resilient and highly available platform. So when we talk about planning with customers as to doing that lift and shift, the key thing that we want to have customers understand is know your toolbox. And what does that mean? So it might be, from a migration point of view, you want to use first-party tools that are part of the Azure platform. Those might be Azure Migrate and ASR to replicate those virtual machines. But there are some scenarios where, I'll be honest, Azure Migrate and ASR doesn't apply. So from the assessment point of view, you might have workloads that are physical machines. At the present time, Azure Migrate wouldn't help you. But there are other third-party solutions, such as StrataZone, that plays well in the physical space. Another key consideration, you might be a customer that does not want your assessment data to sit in the cloud. Right? There are customers like that. And I work with customers like that they are in sovereign territories, and they would prefer if that assessment data lives in a sovereign cloud or it stays behind the firewall. In those cases, you might want to look at a solution such as Turbonomics that can create an assessment appliance that does the actual assessment, and that assessment data stays in your vCenter infrastructure. Again, it might be that you have physical machines. You might have some Linux versions that the Azure Migrate appliance doesn't cover. So third-party solutions such as Cloudamize or even StrataZone, again, you could look on those solutions. Another key consideration in planning for migration is whether or not I have a CMDB, and I can import that information into my assessment tool. So let's say in your CMDB, you have information around costing, cost center information, and you want that to be part of your assessment. With Azure Migrate, we don't support that at the moment, but there are third-party tools, such again as Turbonomic, such as Stratozone, such as Movir, that support importing your Active Directory information and then also your CMDB information for that information to be part of your assessment. So the key thing here is think about what you're migrating, what are your concerns around assessment, and ensure you choose first-party tools or a third-party tool that supports that concern. And that information sits on our, the Azure Migrate portal. So let's talk about assessment. Now, if Azure Migrate supports what you need, it's a simple tool. You deploy it as a virtual appliance sitting in your vCenter infrastructure and Hyper-V, as you might have heard this morning. And basically what it does, it collects metadata. It's not talking to your virtual machines. It's talking at the host level, the vCenter, the VMM level, and the Hyper-V host level to identify the metrics of your virtual infrastructure. I'm not polling your virtual machines. We're polling metadata that's already inside your virtual environment. And we're taking that data and we're sending it to the cloud, running some assessments on it, and presenting you a readiness assessment and a cost assessment for migration. Now, from the perspective of dependencies and understanding the dependencies of your application, Azure Migrate would require you to deploy an agent onto the VMs. What that does, it gives us the ability to not only understand your workloads from a as-is point of view, but we can query those workloads across a month to identify how you can migrate from a performance-based point of view. Meaning, so typically on-prem, folks tend to over-provision. You might not want to migrate your workloads as an over-provisioned workload. You want to do performance assessment to ensure that you're right-sizing and optimizing from a cost point of view when migrating into Azure. Okay, so how many folks here run ASR? Are using ASR at the moment? How many folks know what's the ASR deployment planner? Now, you might say, okay, I'm migrating. The ASR deployment planner is around DR, right? Why are we talking about the deployment planner? But there's a key reason. Because when you're migrating workloads, if you're going to be using ASR to replicate those workloads, you need to understand you're not only replicating the virtual machines, you need bandwidth to replicate those virtual machines. So the deployment planner has a key feature that will allow me to understand clearly what is the required bandwidth to replicate my virtual machines over into Azure. That's a very, very key component, right, with migration. It will determine whether or not I will need to purchase an express route circuit to replicate my move groups into the cloud. So this is a free tool. You can run it in your environment, and it will give you metrics on my required bandwidth for replication. And then also, from a move group point of view, it will tell me how many machines with my available bandwidth I can replicate, do what we call initial replication in a 72-hour window. So if I'm replicating, I don't know, 1,000 machines, it wouldn't make sense for me to replicate all the 1,000 machines at a time. So clearly, prescriptively, the deployment planner will tell me how many machines, with the available bandwidth that I have, right, I can replicate at a time. It also tells me how many of the management appliances I will need to replicate the 1,000 machines that I have. One management appliance replicates and manages 200 disks or 2 terabytes per day. So if the total number of virtual machines that you have exceeds 2 terabytes, you're going to need at least an additional management appliance. So from your planning perspective, I would say this is a key tool that you guys want to pay attention to because it's very helpful. And for my customers that are successful, this is one of the key tools that they run from a migration point of view. So what am I going to do? I'm going to switch over to my machine, and I'm going to show you some other things that we use to help customers when they're considering migrating their workloads. know. All right. So typically, right, when I engage with a customer, the first thing they say, hey, I have these machines, I wanna migrate them, right? There's no talk about assessment, right? They just have these virtual machines and they want to know what it will cost me to run those workloads in the cloud. So there are some tools, and they're not necessarily tools, it might be things that you use on a daily basis that can help you get started with getting the assessment. So the first thing I tend to do, let's say I'm in a VMware environment, is I tend to work with customers to get an inventory, of their machines, to start with a basic costing, of those workloads. Sorry about this. Let me zoom in here to kind of get this out the way. Just log back in. All right. So one of the easy things, so for the VMware admins, and a simple PowerShell command, right? I can just run get VM, right? And get my virtual machine name, CPU memory. I can export that to a CSV file. So this is a list of my virtual machines. I can export that to a CSV file. And there is a simple tool that one of our teammates created. It's a tool that is freely available on the internet. It's called VM Chooser. And what VM Chooser allows you to do is I import that CSV file. I choose the region that I want to place my virtual machines in. And what it will do, it will run a simple report and give me a costing of what it would cost to run this simple app in Azure. So it will tell you my pay-as-you-go price. It will tell me my VM size. It will tell me your per hour cost. It will tell me your per month cost. And this is not an assessment. This is just as is, what will it cost? I just want to know the number. So the next step that we follow with our customers is then, it's called VM Chooser. It's freely available, no cost. All you need is a CSV file with your machines, the compute properties of the VM, and you can run this tool and you can create a report that tells you what it will cost. The next tool that we use is the TCO calculator. How many folks have seen the TCO calculator before? No? Good. The TCO calculator is on the Azure Migrate portal also. The thing with the TCO calculator, however, is that you're going to need to have some additional information to start you out when you're planning to migrate. The TCO calculator not only looks at your existing workloads, the VMs, and the properties of the virtual machine, but there are some other assumptions that you'll need to add in. Whether or not your licensing has software assurance on the Windows side and also on the SQL side, and the type of storage that you're replicating into, and then also some additional information around your labor cost, your cooling, your storage, your electricity costs, and stuff like that. So this gives you a complete total cost of ownership. So what that will do is produce a report like this, which is a TCO report that tells you the amount of savings that you will occur by running those workloads on Azure. So again, this is a little bit more detailed costing of your workloads to understand what it will cost to run them in Azure. But additional inputs are needed for you to get that assessment, that understanding going. Now, when we go through this and we're complete with this, the next thing typically our customers say, okay, I want to assess my workloads now. So I understand what it will cost. I understand the savings that I will occur. But tell me, are the machines that I want to replicate, can they actually be replicated into Azure? And that is where one of the migration assessment tools come in. Because they're going to look at your workloads, they're going to look at your operating system versions and determine whether or not these are OS versions that can run in Azure. So here's a perfect example. I talk with a lot of customers that are using, for example, JD Edwards, right? That runs on Oracle Solaris. Now, Solaris doesn't run in Azure at the moment. So when we assess that environment and we understand, hey, these workloads are running on Oracle Solaris, then we have to have a plan how to migrate that workload. So there, in that scenario, we'd have to look at an application modernization practice for that workload. Backing up the JD Edwards data, creating those Oracle VMs in Azure, and then in deploying JD Edwards on Oracle VMs. Obviously, not Oracle Solaris. So if I jump back quickly into my assessment, one of the key things with running the assessment, as you have been seeing and looking at all week, when you look at your assessment, the assessment gives you a total cost of ownership across the workloads that I want to migrate. So here, the first thing I can see is my monthly cost, my storage cost, and all that information, and then an actual sizing of the VMs themselves, right? It gives me that detailed information. But I also recommend with my customers that what you want to do is edit the properties of those that report, because it defaults to some settings. So it might be that you don't want to run. It might be some dev test workloads. You're not going to want to run those on premium disks because they cost more. It might be that those workloads, you don't need to run those workloads 10 hours per day, right? There might be machines that run only for 8 hours and for a predetermined time per week. So you want to ensure that in your assessment, you're putting that information also when you're generating your report. So one of the things that you can do is change, for example, your comfort factor. So by default, when we assess your workloads, we put a 30% growth rate on the VMs. That might not be comfortable for you, right? You might say, you know what, I want to stay as is. So you can change that comfort factor, right? Once you change that comfort factor, what you can then do is save that report, and it will regenerate the numbers to determine what the cost would be based on the comfort factor, the performance criteria, the disk type, the type of VMs that you're using for the workload. So what the Migrate Assessment tool, across all my assessment tools, whether it be this first-party tool or third-party tools, it gives you the opportunity to play with the numbers, right? I can say, hey, these workloads are not as mission critical, so I might not need to have them on all the time, or I don't care about the performance assessment. I just want them, in a particular way. Right? It's updating the assessment report. All right. So let's switch back to my slides for a bit. So once we have gone through that pricing, TCO, migrate assessment, then the concern comes with our customers, is Azure secure, right? And that's a broad statement, right? And the security folks here will know that, from a security point of view, there's governance, there's compliance, so there's an operation piece and there's a tactical piece. And Azure provides both. So you might have heard the announcements about Azure Blueprints, which is kind of a prescriptive way to deploy your infrastructure. But we also provide the ability to apply policies. Our policies are really your governance framework to ensure when workloads are migrated into Azure, they land into a framework that supports your standard operating procedures. You can also monitor with Azure Monitor, built into resiliency. So we have now availability zones that allow you to stretch your workloads across availability zones to minimize potential failure in your workload. And then automation such as DSC to ensure that, let's say, a particular antivirus version needs to run on my machine. DSC will query all your machines inside your resource group and ensure they meet those baseline criteria that you require for your environment. So to switch back quickly into my demo environment, hopefully I can quickly show you this. So here, oh, the wrong one. Oh, cool.
This one is 5.
Yeah, cool. All right. So quickly, just to show you Azure policy. So I can create an initiative, and when I define my initiative is based upon policies, right? And policies is something that's actionable, right? Ensure that my disks are managed disks. Ensure that I have an antivirus on my VM. So I can create a migration initiative that ensures when my machines land in Azure, they apply to these policies that are set, or the policies that are set apply to them. So when I look at, for example, look at this initiative, what this initiative is saying, make sure that I have the anti-malware agent on the VMs, and then also I can apply a tag. It might be a cost center tag to those virtual machines. So inside policy management, what I can then do, I can look at my compliance state. And what my compliance state shows me for my migrated workloads, are any of those workloads non-compliant, right? If they're non-compliant, what I can then do is go and execute a remediation task. And a remediation task can be manual, or I can automate the actual remediation of the machines that are non-compliant to my governance and compliance policies in my environment. So this ensures that when you're migrating into Azure, not only my application owners from my IT operations folks are comfortable, but my security folks and governance folks are comfortable, because the same standard operating procedures that they have on premise for your workloads that are running behind the firewall, you can carry them into Azure and apply them to those workloads once they are migrated. So if any of my machines are not compliant, I can click on the machine and apply, the needed compliance requirements. It's the same thing on the Security Center point of view. With Security Center, not only can I see my policy and compliance, but again, I can be tactical because I can see my security hygiene. My machines are migrated. I can deeply and quickly look at my compute and so my virtual machines, and I can see from that perspective, what is the issue with my virtual machines? No disk encryption, no endpoint protection. I haven't run a vulnerability assessment. So I'm completing the whole management lifecycle. My business folks have migrated their applications. My security folks can have visibility into, are the machines compliant based on the organization standard, and are they secure? And again, you can use automation to apply whatever rules or whatever security requirements that you have for your environment. Okay, and then finally, from a cost management point of view, we have clouding, which is now Azure Cost Management, which will help you again to optimize your cost. And if you're using, typically from a pricing point of view, if you have software assurance, you can run Windows VMs in Azure at about 49% cheaper, just around the Linux VM price, and then reserve instances. If you're buying Azure with reserved instances, you're getting about an 82% discount if you're using reserved instances over the 3-year period. So okay, and that's typically how I walk through a planning conversation with our customers. Give me your virtual machines, let's do a basic costing. After we've done a basic costing, let's look at what you have, use an assessment tool to figure out where you are, TCO to understand the difference running on premise, and then we create a security baseline and a compliance baseline before we migrate into the Azure platform. All right, any questions? Sure. The assessment? Yes. Yes. Good question. So her question was, when we assess our workloads, is it point in time or is it over a period? So because we're constantly collecting data with the appliance, we can collect metrics over a month. So if we do a performance-based assessment, we can stretch it to at least 30 days to get you the best baseline for your migrated workloads. All right, folks, thank you very much for coming. Enjoy the rest of the conference, and I hope this was helpful to you.